Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of What Are You Going to Do About It? I have one of my little brothers on here today,
What's up?
Emmanuel
What's up?
Malette. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? Or tonight? Whatever time you're listening to it.
Right, whatever time they choose to listen to it. All right, Emmanuel and I met during an acting class, right? Was that your first acting class?
Well, it was one of them. Like I had worked. I had took class in high school, but that was just like theater classes. But yeah, that was like my first like real acting class, like in terms of like, going after the craft for real. Yeah, so it was.
Right. Yeah, the thing I remember about you is that like this was not a game for you. You were emotional. You were like, I really want to get better. Like, I'm trying to do this. Like, this is serious for me. And it's funny because so many people get into acting and they look at it like it's like a side job and like it's not real. But right from the beginning in the class, you were like, no, I really want to, hone this craft.
Yeah, no, I really did. I really do. Like back then, I wanted to make sure that I liked it first. And that's why I took the classes. I took the foundation class that we took. I wanted to like make sure. First of all, investing that money that was already like, okay, if you're investing money into something, you're already a cut above a lot of other people that aren't willing to do that first step. But in doing that, it was good, revealing to me, and it showed me, especially the class that you're talking about, when I broke down, I was like, okay, so I really do like this. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's do it,
Yeah. So what do you feel like you took away from that class? Like for me, it was like a reintroduction back into it. So it was like, once I got into it, I was like, okay, the chops are back.
Because you have been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I stepped away for a while. So yeah, it was like just kind of like a reintroduction. I was like, okay, I can still do this. I think I'm okay. So yeah. So for you, what did you take away from the course?
Like that.
Other than you knew that you wanted to do it.
Yeah, like it really showed me what acting really is. Like it showed me that it's not becoming a character. It's you being you in the person that is written, like their circumstances. You're being yourself in their circumstances. And it showed me like, to not judge characters, to like just look at what they're dealing with and understand that everybody has a reason that they're doing certain things and that they're going through certain things. And it made me more empathetic toward people in life too. You know what I mean? Like even people that do the craziest things, like of course everybody needs to be held accountable, but it makes me wonder like why they did what they did, because these characters that are written come from these real people that have done certain things in life, So for me, like whenever I'm looking at a script, I don't judge the character, and I got a lot of that from that class, not judging the character. And, acting is not becoming somebody else. It's you being a different part of yourself.
I would say my favorite scene from the class is when you and I did our scene together. And I think you were my boboyfriend in the scene. And I had a migraine that day, but I was like, oh my God. Like you are really getting on my nerves. The migraine actually enhanced the scene. So
wasn't it like when you were when we had to do thoughts out loud?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm sorry.
When we were sitting at the table.
Yes.
That was crazy.
It was crazy, but it was good. It was really good.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So in addition to acting, one of the things that that I really love about you is that you're also a dancer. And so it's funny because it's one of those things where it's not looked at as a very masculine thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially when it comes to Black males, like it's not like, you
Mhm.
know, it's not something that's considered masculine, but
Yeah.
here you are embodying masculinity and still doing this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's tough. It was definitely a tough journey though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like, cause you got people calling you gay and all this stuff. And
mhm,
I mean, to each their own, do your own thing, but like that's not my story.
mhm,
Why you gonna
mhm,
put that on me because I'm doing something that you not doing?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, yeah, but like thank you so much, first of all, for that though. Like that means a lot. Your dance, that's like breathing for me. You know,
Mm,
I love dance. I love it.
mhm,
And
mhm.
it's something that I can't live without.
And you've been doing it since like
Since I
how
was
old?
13, since I was 13. So
Wow.
since I was a kid. And I'm 28 now. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
I've been doing it
cool.
for a very long time. Like started off with hip hop, and then went to school at UNCG. Go Spartans.
Mhm.
You know? Went to school at UNCG and studied contemporary and ballet, modern, African, jazz, the
That's
whole
so
nine. I
cool.
got my degree in dance, And I mean, I'm just really, I don't care what nobody else thinks. Like I love to dance. You know what
That's
I
what's
mean?
up.
Like I will prop my phone up anywhere, turn my music on, and let's go. Like prop my phone up and like to record myself. And turn
Mhm.
my phone and let's do it. I really I don't care what anyone else thinks. And it's giving me an opportunity to really, you know, like help people. Like through
Mhm.
dance. Like I've had so many opportunities to like just to give back through this art.
Mm. That's awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we are going to get into it. The name of the podcast is What Are You Going to Do About It? We asked three simple questions. What was the problem? How did you know it was a problem? And what did you do about it? So, without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can tell us what was your problem.
I've had a lot of problems.
Haven't we all? But I'm sure there's one that sticks out as like ground
Yeah.
breaking or,
Yeah.
very defining.
Oof. Yeah. I've actually never talked about this live or on camera
Mhm.
before. So this is going to be a first.
Mhm.
My problem was I used to be addicted to porn.
Mm.
Used to be like super like, yeah, like it was, and not a lot of people come out and say that, but like that was something that I used to struggle with, like from
Mhm.
the time I was, oof, from the time I was a teenager up until you know college, I was struggling
Mhm.
with that.
Goodness, that's one that as a male,
Mhm.
I'm sure that before you recognize something's not right about this, like everybody, your friends probably celebrated it. And
Celebrated.
I'm sure you didn't see a problem with it because as a male, things
Yeah.
like that are kind of like beat into you
Well,
with this hypersexualized world that we live
yeah.
in.
But the thing is, you try not to see a problem with it. Like, but in me,
Mhm.
in my heart, I just knew something was like just real dirty about it. Some like
At
from
what point though?
at one point, I mean, even like when I first started, like as a kid,
Wow.
I just felt like something in my heart just didn't agree with it. I didn't know how to
Mhm.
explain it. Like it's just for me, spiritually speaking, like I come from a Christian background, you know, and just I felt the Lord in my heart, just even at that age, like His Spirit was just like kind of just, like when you eat something, like for me, like if I eat McDonald's. Like it just sit in my stomach and it don't feel right.
Mhm.
It's just, ooh,
Mhm.
why'd I eat that? That's what it felt like,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
same thing about McDonald's is like you still go back and back
Mhm.
and back
Mhm.
because it's something about it. It's McDonald's.
Mhm.
Going back was like, just getting that McDonald's fix. over.
Now we're not discrediting McDonald's.
Not
You're
discrediting
just
McDonald's.
saying.
McDonald's, do your thing, you know, like you know,
Right.
yeah, we're not doing that.
Right. But for you, it was just one of those things. Almost from the very beginning, it just didn't sit right.
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't.
So what? Like, at what point did you get to the point where it's like, okay, this goes beyond, like, you know, something that I'm doing, I guess recreationally,
Right.
like this, I need to stop altogether, or like, how did that come about?
Well, when I graduated college, there was a church that I was going to that, well, first of all, I didn't have a car, so I wasn't able to get there as consistently as I would have liked to. But this church happened to build a campus right beside my apartment. So I could walk there, and like I connected with a lot of people there. Like one of the guys I connected with happened to be, you know, he was a campus pastor out there. It was like a lot of college students there. So it was a young crowd. So yeah, so he was real cool, like was campus pastor there. And he was also a counselor, therapist as well. So one day I just reached out to him and just told him what was going on, and like how I just wanted to be clear of that. Like I just wanted to not deal with that issue anymore. And you know, he sat with me for like 10 weeks. Like once or twice a week we would meet up and we'd talk, and we'd have like meetings. And from that, with him and through the grace of God, I was able to, you know, put that away.
So without going to therapy, so to speak, because you did say he was a licensed like counselor, without going that route, do you feel like you could have overcome it?
Not healthily. I don't think I would have. I think it would have been. I think I would have put it down and picked up something else.
Yeah.
You know, replaced it with something else because, yeah, because it was something that could have easily turned into that. But he helped me to look at it holistically rather than looking at just what I was doing. He helped me look at it like holistically through a spiritual sense and grow spiritually. Not like I wasn't just focused on that. I grew like spiritually in general, and then my affections changed. I just didn't even want to do it, you know. And that didn't happen within those 10 weeks. It happened years and years and years like after that, you know, like the growth continued to happen, and the growth is continuously happening. Even though I'm not like my eyes, I ain't looking at nothing like that now, but like, you know, God is still growing me in certain areas, you know, that, yeah.
It's interesting because I wonder, like, this is fascinating to me because I'm like, how do you develop a healthy, how do you go from an addiction, right, to porn and sex, basically, to having a healthy relationship or healthy sexual and intimate relationships?
Yeah, that's a really good question. To me, just it just took a while, you know, because you go from looking at women as transactional beings, you know, to like having to look at them as the way they're created. Like, nah, she's created to be this person just like I'm created to be this person, not someone that I consume. She's a human being. She's somebody that was given the image of Christ, just like I was given the image of Christ. So like to go from that, it just really just took the Lord just growing my heart, like day by day, one day at a time, you know. Like we were talking about off camera when you weren't recording, you know, I'm in a committed relationship now, you know. Seeing her as she is what I'm all about versus seeing like years ago, like I wouldn't have been able to be in this relationship with the love of my life had I and not taken the steps to be clear of that, you know. So it's really just one day at a time, and just, you know, having grace for yourself when you mess up. Grace for yourself when you mess up, but also having accountability with yourself and other people that love you, having them hold you accountable as well. You know, like preferably someone that has walked, you know, that road before, and he holds you accountable, which was my counselor and my big brother to this day. But it's really just about having someone that can guide you and hold you accountable, being held accountable to yourself, and, you know, having grace for yourself, because just to understand that you are a human at the end of the day. So just allowing yourself to have grace to grow. If I can put it all
so you said that you've never talked about it on camera before, and of course you've talked to, you know, professionals, and those that sound like they're your mentors and your, you know, your close counsel.
Yeah.
What was the reaction of other people who don't have the same type of walk? And well, first of all, have you told other people who don't have the same type of belief system? And what was their reaction to you saying that, you know, this was like a legitimate, like, I guess, addiction for you?
Well, I haven't really talked to people outside of my belief system about it, you know, but the people that I have talked to about it, they've responded, you know, the same way. They've opened up to me about their struggles, you know, like how, like, they, you know, don't want to do it. They know it. They know for them it feels wrong, you know, but they just don't know how to stop. And like I would just, you know, encouragement there, and I would tell them what it is that I had to do to grow from it, you know. So yeah, that's how that happened. But I haven't shared. I don't think I really talked about it when outside my belief system.
So did it get to the point at all where it kind of like interfered with your studies or jobs or anything like that? Or were you able to recognize it before it got like to the point where it affected your life in such a negative way?
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't affect me that way. It's just more so like just it was more of the feeling around it. Like I just knew I wasn't doing it at all. Like one of the things like that, I wasn't missing work, but like I was really, really, like, you know, I like to do it, and I didn't feel like that was something that I needed to be spending my time doing. I did feel like it took energy away from the things that I could be doing. Like working toward my dreams and my goals. Like productive things, it took away from that. But for me, it never got to a dangerous point. Like, you know, I was physically in danger, or anyone else. Or it also didn't, like, you know, my job wasn't compromised or anything else like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to get to that point. And thank God it didn't. Like thank God that he gave you, you know, the insight to know, okay, this is definitely going down the wrong path, and I need to seek some help for it.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm interested though in understanding. You know, as we stated, we met in acting class, so you are on the path to, you know, continue pursuing acting and dancing, and both. The entertainment industry is so like it is overly sexual.
Yeah.
I mean, like it is, and I'm just wondering, like, with your walk and with your experiences, how are you balancing, you know, your career and you know, this thing that you struggle with?
Yeah, well, it's really not an issue there. Like my thing is, like, as an actor that is also a believer, a follower of Christ, a dancer that is also a follower of Christ, like, what gigs do I take and what gigs do I not take? Because you can't, just deny every gig because they're
Right.
not going to be working. You know, like you need to get in the door. You need to get in the door of these, in the offices of these casting directors. You need them to see your work, you know. But at the same time, like, do I not accept? Or do I accept every gig? You know, don't like that either, because you know some things just don't align with you, with your integrity. They don't like the script just ain't written well either.
But it's basically having discernment
Yeah.
to know like your purpose, like these are your gifts. Your
Yeah,
gifts are acting and dancing, but
yeah,
at the same time, you know your purpose. And if
right.
something does not align with your purpose,
Yeah,
then you're not going to take it.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like for me, like trying to make sure that I'm making the right choice in that regard, because again, I can't just say no to everything. I can't say yes to everything, you know. So I can't say that there's a certain type of role that I just, well, I can't say that there's certain roles that I won't do, but like, but for the most part, I can't just say I won't do this, you know. I have to be open-minded, but at the same time be guided by purpose, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell everybody what you're working on right now. Like, what do you have coming down the pike?
Yeah. So I got some stuff coming on through the pipe real quick. For me, like I got a movie premiere coming up for this movie that we just finished last year. It's called Jack Squad 2. So that premiere is going to be on February 27th, and super excited about that. What else do I have? Gerald's Hands, a movie that I also worked on. I was a dancer in that movie, and that movie is about an adult that has autism. He's very high on the spectrum, and it goes through his life story of how he is, you know, living by himself and still doing things as an adult would after his mother dies, who was his main caretaker. And it goes into explaining his life story and just basically raises autism awareness. And that's one of the movies called Gerald's Hand. It's on Tubi. And you know, now I'm just auditioning, working, you know, and doing the daily grind of just making this thing happen.
That's awesome. Tell everyone how they can follow you.
You can follow me on IG. My Instagram is Emmanuel Showtime Malette. That's EMMANUEL Showtime SHOWTIME. Then my last name Malette MALETTE.
I meant to ask you, where does this Showtime come from?
Showtime. Well, yeah, like Showtime, to me, Showtime means confidence, you know, because my goal in life is to have the same amount of confidence that I have when I'm on that stage that I have in life. I want to have that same confidence in stage and put that same confidence in my life. Yeah, that's what Showtime stands for. Like no matter where I am, if I'm on the stage or whether I'm in life, it's always Showtime. And I'm always my most confident, most true self. So that's what Showtime means.
Got it. All right, good. Good. I was wondering, I was like, is that his nickname growing up? All right. So if you could leave our viewers with one thing, you know, regarding your problem and how you were able to get past it, and I'm sure still getting past it, you know, still working through it, what would that thing be?
To not be afraid to ask for help, to not be afraid to open up. Like as actors, we're tasked with the you know the duty of opening up. You know, we're always opening up. So just to anyone else, actor or not, like open up to someone and talk to someone about that. Whether it be porn, whether it be alcohol, drugs, whatever it is. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Somebody in a dirt bike doing that thing. But yeah, like no matter what it is, just don't be afraid to ask for help. And then whenever you have an opportunity to tell about your success, talk about it. Because for me, in being vulnerable like this, I feel like I've shared too much, honestly. But oh, you are open and vulnerable, and you did not care about yourself. You cared more about what other people are going to get from your story than you cared about you keeping your story to yourself. So I would say those two things are very important. Opening up and sharing what's going on and asking for help. And then two, sharing your testimony once you get the help.
I appreciate you being so vulnerable and transparent. Like I honestly was like shocked when you said that, because it's one of those things. Again, we live in a society where, like, you know, unfortunately, masculinity is defined by sexuality. And I could only imagine, you know, if you had not talked to the people that you talk to and you talk to other people, they would have been like, oh man, that's not nothing. You know, that's not like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're a man. Like it's encouraged. So just having the awareness to know, like, yeah, no, this is not okay. This does not define masculinity and, you know, who I am as a person and a believer. Like, I so appreciate you sharing this story. And I know that for some people, when they're watching this, they may start to view some of these ideologies that we have. You know, they may start to look at them differently and understand, like, just because this is the world's view of how things should be, it doesn't necessarily make it right.
That's I hope so. You know, I hope that people get something from that. You know, that this message really lands for someone. You know.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Thank you. We're gonna have to do another scene together at some point when I start getting back out there.
Come to the studio. Come to the studio.
I need to. It's been a long time since I've been there, so I do have plans of returning eventually.
Ooh, the return.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being, you know, again, so vulnerable and open and honest. And like, I just have so much respect for that. And thank you for also being open to share your talents. As we said, you know, at the beginning, especially dancing, like, it just has, again, going back to what's masculine and feminine and all of that, to be able to put all of what people say aside and truly live in your gift. I just think it's amazing. And I'm just, you know, so humbled to be able to say that I know you, and I've met so many other great people who, you know, who are just like, you know what, this is my gift. This is what God put me on this planet to do. And this is what I'm going to do every day, unapologetically. So I appreciate that. I appreciate
that so much. That means so much to me. I mean, shoot, he gave me the gift. So like, what does anyone else's opinion have to do with that? You know what I'm saying? So I just, that's just how I think we should all view it. You know, like, he gave me the gift, you didn't. And I'm going to do it unapologetically. And I'm going to serve this gift on a silver platter every day.
Right. Well, with that is the end of our show. Thank you again. Thank you, everybody, for watching. The name of the podcast again is What Are You Going to Do About It? I hope that you all have been blessed by this story. You're encouraged, and remember to ask yourself, what am I going to do about it? All right. Bye.